Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you want to see next.
First, we see the Eastern Military Region where Dong Kingsu is standing in the training room, and she is using her telekinesis skill to make some balls fly in the air, and after bringing them all in the air, she blasts them all in the air. By doing this, she starts moving forward, and while she is moving forward, the phone in her pocket starts vibrating, and as soon as she takes out the phone and sees the message, she gets emotional, because in the message there was something written by our MC for her, where it was written that everything is fine, don't worry, and don't miss me. After reading the message, tears start flowing from her eyes, and she emotionally takes the name of our MC. Then his companion comes there and shouts loudly that I have received a news. When he enters the room and sees Kingsu emotional, he understands that Kingsu already knows what I have come here to say. So he also asks that after seeing your expression, it seems that you have also received the news, and I hope that the child is still fine. Now Kingsu seems more content than before, and it won't be a lie to say that she was not worried after all our MC was missing for such a long time, and now finally Kingsu has got news of him. She is feeling and hoping when Lu Sheng will return. However, then his phone starts vibrating again. This time he gets a message from our MC's sister, where she wrote that she has found out about my brother, and she also sent an emoji. After reading this message, Kingsu also replies that she has already got the news about this, and she also sends an emoji. Meanwhile, we see a military ship which is circling the sea, and Hongfei is posted on this ship. It is circling the sea in search of our MC. Then suddenly a soldier comes and salutes him first and tells him about the news that an important report has come from the army. General Lu has taken the initiative to send a message back. He is fine, but it will probably take some time for him to come back. As soon as Hongfei hears this from the soldier, a smile comes on his face, and in excitement he tells the soldier to gather all the troops and inform them about returning to the military area. The soldier listens to Hongfei and says yes and leaves from there. When the soldier leaves, Hongfei laughs and says that the military has been waiting for this day for more than 200 years, and no matter how long it waits, the future of the military and its God will soon return. After a long journey of 6 months, finally the explorer team successfully returned home, and in the meantime, on a small island on the border of Lion and Eagle countries, which is not located on the satellite, Golden Ring Island, a big ship is heading towards that island. The ship stops near the island and people start coming out of it. While coming out, some people were talking among themselves. One of them said that after many months of sailing, it is finally over. Hearing this, another person also said that this is very boring. To be honest, this kind of escort mission is not as good as fighting the people of Dark Star and Black Magic Society. Those two people who were talking to each other, a person was coming from behind them who is senior to all of them. Then the first person asks his senior that, "Sir, do you also think exactly like what I said?" Then the senior who was smoking says that suffering is also a part of practice. As soon as those two people listen to that senior and start praising him that the excellence of your thinking is very high in realm, we are still far behind in comparison to you. The senior doesn't say anything after listening to such words of both of them, and just then some people from inside that big ship are bringing out the capsule, and our MC is lying inside it. They were all bringing the capsule out very carefully and telling each other to be careful so that the capsule does not collide with anything, and the professor was standing right in front of them who was ordering them to bring the capsule out very carefully. When the professor was taking our MC's capsule, the three men who were talking to each other earlier start talking to each other again. The first person calls Professor Napson a fool and asks why he is treating a dead body like a treasure. Then the second person also says that I have heard that he wants to bring that corpse back to life. How is it possible that a dead person can become alive again? This is a foolish thing. Their senior also stands with them, and after watching for some time, he says that now I am also getting curious. After that he starts going towards the capsule and asks all the soldiers who were taking the capsule forward to stop. As soon as the soldiers see him, They salute his senior by calling him Lord 10th King Seal. Seeing that person coming towards the capsule, the professor quickly comes and stands in front of the capsule and stops that person and says, "Elton, what do you want to do? This is my precious test experiment." Seeing the professor in front of the capsule, Elton moves the professor away from the capsule with his telekinesis power and tells him to move away from the front. The professor is a little impressed by Elton's skill, but by then Elton has already moved him away from the capsule and thrown him towards the soldiers. The soldiers catch him and ask him, "Professor, are you okay?" Seeing Elton from a distance, the professor shouts angrily that you are a barbarian. You are a thief, you rascal. Do not do anything to my subject. Hearing such words from the professor, Elton just says that I just want to explore it for a while and check something. After this, he raises his hand and starts checking the body of our MC. Our MC lying in the capsule is very scared to see him doing this, that he might touch me. If he touches me, then my whole plan will be spoiled. If Elton touches our MC, then our MC will have to take action directly. However, as soon as Elton moves his hand further to touch our MC, he stops because at that very moment a message comes on his phone. Looking at the phone, he says, "Forget about it. I am not going to talk about your corpse anymore because I have more important work to do." As Elton starts to leave from there, our MC takes a sigh of relief because he had almost touched our MC. If the level 8 master had even touched our MC, he did not know whether he would be able to hide himself more or not, and as for his body, there are many such details which cannot be hidden during inspection. Napsen's brainwashing and hypnotism can be ignored, but not everyone is fooled. Once the secret was revealed, Lu Sheng had no choice but to kill him by force. Luckily, at the last moment, something called him away. When Lu Sheng is thinking about all this, Napsen standing next to him asks everyone to move the capsule forward again, because now the annoying people are gone. The work will be easy. And then looking at the capsule, he gets angry thinking about Elton and says that I will definitely report about this to Lord Shenian. And then after this he asks everyone to move the capsule to the lab as soon as possible. Then the story shifts directly to Napsen's laboratory, where he is putting marrow fluid in our MC's capsule by standing it at one place, and while he is doing this, he sees something surprising inside our MC. On seeing which he says in surprise that the marrow fluid has been absorbed. It works. It really works. God is slowly recovering. As long as enough energy is being provided, he will be fully revived sooner or later. Then he shouts loudly into the mic next to him saying, "I am Napsen, you must immediately convert all my research resource quota for this month into high-grade marrow fluid and send it to me. Advance payment next month too. I need a large amount of exotic animal cerebrospinal fluid and cell tissue fluid. Send them all to me." As soon as the announcement is made, everyone gets busy because the professor has ordered that a large amount of fluid will be needed. So they start bringing the fluid to the laboratory as quickly as possible. After this, he puts the fluid in our MC's capsule and says that that's all. Absorb it as quickly as possible. The more you absorb, the better it will be, so that you can wake up again as soon as possible. Whatever this strange marrow fluid that our MC is absorbing right now is great for him. And from within the capsule he thinks fondly about it, that this is called true cultivation because the external injuries that have just been healed, plus the 22 immortal cells of the star immortal body, the entire body is in an extremely empty state. The 23rd immortal cell has begun to emerge in the past half-month. Lu Sheng has absorbed at least 8 million virtuous marrow fluid. As long as there is a little less in the culture chamber, Nepsen will replenish it immediately. As our MC absorbs all those marrow fluid, he thinks of the professor. This professor has a tremendous amount of resources. I guess after this trip, I can get dozens more immortal cells. Hunian is really rich. I must get as much as I can from this wave of wool. There are enough resources for Lu Sheng to cultivate here, and if there is any shortage, it will be automatically fulfilled. The cultivation environment is such that he feels safe today. Is there any better place in the world to cultivate? However, RMC has also sensed the strongest person on this ring seal base who is barely at the 9th level initial stage martial saint stage. But the resources he is absorbing right now, he starts doing that when he has 22 immortal cells. He will beat Zhu Jai like a dog, he will not spare him even a bit, but till then he will have to retreat for a few days. After this, the story shifts directly to 1 year later, where some people are sitting in the meeting room of the Golden Ring Island base and discussing among themselves. In that room, through holography, a person's figure is seen on the table, and right in front of him is sitting a girl who tells everyone that the real purpose of this meeting is on two things. Firstly, about the World Grandmaster competition, and secondly, about the news of new energy crystal production. Then she continues, "It's estimated that if our 20 strongest king seals go out together, we'll definitely get a larger share than before. Since the Black Magic Society lost half of its members to Dragon Country last year, and may even withdraw from the competition, we'll have more people this time, not less." Hearing this, a person sitting in front asks the girl whether this news is reliable and who was offended by the Black Magic Society. Then the girl says that according to the intelligence, he is the new martial saint of Dragon Nation. As soon as everyone hears this, they are surprised that "What are you saying? Dragon Nation has a new martial saint of its own." So friends, chapter ends here. Now what will happen next, we will know in the next chapter. And don't forget to give number out of 5 to the chapter, and we will meet in another video. Till then, goodbye. Now what will happen next? You can tell your opinion by commenting. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video too.